Thanks for listening to the NVTV podcast, produced by Nikwa Media.
Welcome to this episode of the NVTV podcast. I'm Sarah Huck, and on today's show, I'm joined with Joanne and Steffi, who are members of the group that got first place in the financial literacy event at the VEI International Competition that took place earlier this month. Thank you guys for being with me here today.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just going to kind of start off. I know a lot of people listening aren't part of the VEI class since it is senior only, so I was wondering if you could kind of just give an explanation of how the class is structured and what you do when you're in that class.
So the class is basically about bringing a workplace into a classroom where the classroom itself is set up like a company, how a company would lay out, and all the students in it are employees. In the beginning of the year, we get to interview for positions we want. That includes CEO, the chief positions, and the specialist positions. Throughout the year, we practice presentations, we run the company as if it's a real company, and we take those competitions and we take those presentations and go into competitions, and the ultimate goal is basically to make it and qualify for internationals or nationals that is in New York.
Yeah, so you kind of talked about how you all have like separate roles in the class. So I know you do competitions, so it's a fully functioning company, but you have different competitions, like you did personal financial or financial literacy. So how do people who are in different roles do these different competitions, since it doesn't seem like it's directly the company that's doing the competition, if that makes sense? So how do those work? How do competitions basically?
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the year, like you're really like focused on your specific roles, but then again, like as the year progresses, you kind of like move into like who's available for these roles. Like for people who qualified for New York, it's like, oh, who wants to do the financial literacy challenge? So it's like whoever's available for that. But really, you kind of stay specifically to your specific roles, like in marketing or finance, and you're able to progress throughout the year in those specific competitions.
So essentially you kind of have a role in the class, and then you're also doing competitions as a part of the class, but it's a bit separate from the role you have for the like company that you have?
Yeah, the main competitions we have is like a business plan competition, and there's a finance one, a marketing one, and then an HR one. And we usually just take people from those departments who's willing to set up a presentation, practice it, memorize it, and if they qualify to the next round, they will be available to present at the next location. So we choose people and who to participate in the competition by their departments, and the competition, there's not many events, there's only like a few, so that's how it works.
So the class chooses, or like a teacher?
Well, you'd be surprised with the amount of people that doesn't want to do it. So eventually, it just works out. Like, the teacher really doesn't take much part in any of the VEI process. She just sits at her desk, usually, and the CEO and the CPM would run the class.
Yeah, so then in terms of classwork and preparation, what do you guys do in class to prepare for competition? In regards to, like, do you mainly prepare for competition in class? Is that out of class? Or are you more focused on just, like, classwork itself regarding, like, the company that you have?
So in like January, February, it was super like in class heavy, where like we were like working on tasks to prepare for these competitions like all the time, because there's so many different like rounds to like make it to. There was like the Midwest round, and then we had the international round, and like we really had to work hard, especially in class, to keep progressing to try to make it to the next round. But there was outside work, I would say, that had to be done as well.
So what is some stuff that you guys did leading up to the event?
Definitely set up a presentation, slideshows that look pretty. That's very, very important. We write our scripts. Obviously, gathering the information we're going to talk about is a big part of it. And practicing the presentations, memorizing it, setting up transitions in the slideshow that goes along with our presentation, and making sure everything is in place.
So what do you do, like, when you go into competition? What are the rounds of competition? Like, what's, like, your lowest level to now you guys obviously competed at the highest level that you could in VEI. What were, like, the steps that you took leading up to that point?
Yeah, so first, like, you submit, like, say for the marketing competition, like, you submit your marketing stuff, and then, like, there's, like, that preliminary round where it's, like, just, like, your plan, and then that has to get through to, like, a second round, and then once that is done, we presented on Zoom to, like, our presentation, our whole marketing plan on Zoom, and then after that, it was, like, what was it, top 4 in the Midwest move on? What was that? Yeah. So top 4 in the Midwest, then move on to nationals, and that's how we knew we were going to go to New York. And then New York, then from there, you either place or you don't.
So you guys also have like many competitions. So how do you balance that during the school year? I've heard that like there's a lot of field trips for this class, especially because of the amount of competitions that you go on. Where do the competitions tend to take place? Are they normally more regionally related, or are they more further away, like the one in New York? And then how do you manage that with school?
The first few field trips, yes, you are right, there's definitely a lot of field trips. The first few ones are all in the region. We went to one in Michigan, and then we also went to one in NIU, which is pretty close compared to the Michigan one. And the final one is just in New York. So really, New York's the only one that you have to take a plane, go fly really far for. In terms of balancing the coursework and other schoolwork, VEI doesn't have too much busy work that you have to do. A lot of it, you can do it in class, because in class, think about it, it's your work time. You're going to your job. So you take all the time in class doing your task at hand, and there's not really much procrastination with that either, because people love this class. People who join this class are business majors. It's really enjoyable for all of us. But when coming to preparing for competitions, that's when you need to get a group of people together, practice the script and the presentations on top of your daily work in VEI. So we do meet outside of school occasionally to practice that. Yeah.
So when you go on your trips, is it like the whole VEI class or just people who are competing?
Yeah, it's usually just the people competing. Michigan, we had a lot of people from each different class just because so many people were, like, competing or just, like, attending the trade show and stuff. But New York, it was, like, primarily just the competitors.
And there are multiple different VEI classes, I'm guessing all with different companies. So are you guys also competing against each other then?
Yeah, definitely. We all are trying to, like, get that spot at nationals and stuff, so we're definitely competing against the other NEQA firms.
So when you go into competition, what kind of goes into your mind? Like how do you kind of like, I guess, like motivate yourself or get yourself excited for competition? What do you kind of like think about?
That's a good question. So in the beginning, we had this business plan presentation, and our firm scored the highest out of all the NEQA firms. So we were, when we moved on to Michigan for a round to advance to nationals, we were super, super nervous. All of us were just memorizing our script. There was a much like exciting atmosphere there, and we went in and we didn't make it to the last round. So from that, I think all of us learned a lesson that you got to take each presentation as like your last one. So you got to hype yourself up. You got to present with energy, with passion, smile at the judges. Just bring a lot of energy in and enjoy what you're doing while you're at it, as if it's your last one. So before our presentations, from that point on, we would always be like, remember that this could be our last one. Just have fun with it. Bring good energy, and just we would remind each other what to think about before we go into the room for the presentation.
Yeah, that's why I think we did so good on the financial literacy one in New York, because we were like, this is our last one. It was like one of the last days. We finished all our other competitions. It really was like the last go at this.
Yeah, we were relaxed and we had fun.
Yeah, and this event specifically, kind of like what does like financial literacy essentially entails? So what kind of stuff would you specifically have to prepare for this event that you guys placed first in?
So this event, it was like really different than what we've been doing like the whole year. It was like they gave you like a fake couple to plan a budget for, and they gave you like sheets and sheets of just like stuff about their life, their jobs, like their careers, like everything about their life and like their future goals. And you had to plan a budget for it and then make a slide deck about like how you're able to budget everything. And then the day of the competition, they're going to give you kind of like something that throws off your budget a little.
And then I know Joanne, because I talked to Joanne separately about this. You're talking about how when you went to your first round, once you got into your international competition, your first round, you guys didn't really even feel like you were going to win, and then you ended up getting first place for the whole thing. So how did it feel overall just to win, knowing that you were the first from NEQA to get first place in this event?
We were shocked.
Definitely shocked. We feel really honored. And we feel really lucky to be representing Nikwa at a national stage, international stage even. Definitely, like, the fun part of it was thinking that we're not going to make it at all, and then realizing that we advanced to the next round. And then there was this period of hassle and just running back, putting on our suits again, practicing a script a few times, being nervous, but also reminding each other that this is just, we're having fun. If we don't make it, it's okay. If we do make it, then it'll be awesome.
Yeah, it was like seriously the best thing that could have happened because it was like our last thing in VEI like ever. It was like after like all that hassle and like, oh, we're not gonna make it, just like winning the whole thing really like just like ended the year off strong.
And then what would you recommend for upcoming seniors who are going to take the class after going through all the competitions as well as the in-school classwork? What are some things that you'd recommend for people taking the class, or why are some reasons that you would recommend it to people?
Oh my God, I recommend this class so much. Like
To everyone, to every business major.
Yeah, or maybe not even business major, just like every person. I think just like being in a class where it's like focused on like just like as if it's a job. I think it's so helpful. It literally made me more interested in business, made me like know I want to go directly into finance, and I think it's just so helpful to learn how to collaborate with people and like just balance like workload and stuff. I just think it's so important and would highly recommend.
Yeah, the course itself is less paper busy work, and you interact with everybody from different departments, talk about things that are business related. If anything, it teaches you a lot of interpersonal skills that's required in corporate jobs, and I would definitely recommend it to everybody. Another reason is it's an honors class. It's a weighted, I think it's a weighted grade. Yeah. It's not, as long as you do your part of the company, you get an A. All the field trips, competitions are really good experience that you really want for your entire life as part of high school. Like, we remembered like even the bus rides or the plane rides there. It's really fun. It sticks with you. Brings you outside of the classroom more than any other course. So definitely recommend because of all this fun that you get along with the experience.
Okay, well, yeah, that was really cool. Thank you to Joanne and Steffi for joining us today on the NVTV podcast, and congrats again on your first place win at the international competition. The NVTV podcast is produced by media students at Neuqua Valley High School. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.